You're watching Mirror 7 News. Stay informed, stay ahead for more news.
Alright, let's talk about Chase Brown and why he could be a tough call for fantasy managers this week. Brown has been seeing a decent chunk of carries in the Bengals' backfield. But here's the thing, that share has been shrinking steadily. Since Joe Burrow went down, the Bengals have leaned on other options, and in Jake Browning's 3 starts, the team has run only 42 plays for running backs. That's actually one of the lowest totals in the league over that span, trailing only the Bears, who didn't even play last week. What this means for Brown is his ceiling has been capped at about 10 carries per game. Even though he's technically getting work, it's not the kind of workload that typically translates into high fantasy output. And looking ahead, things aren't expected to change much with Joe Flacco taking over at quarterback. Vegas has installed the Bengals as 14-point underdogs against the Packers this week, which suggests they'll be playing from behind. If that happens, the team may rely even less on the run, further limiting Brown's opportunities. It's not that Brown can't produce, he's proven capable in the past, but the context matters. Fantasy managers often look at opportunity first, and the numbers aren't pointing to a breakout week here. In other words, even if he's technically active and seeing snaps, the situation has capped his upside. For those playing season-long leagues, he might still have some value as a backup or handcuff option, but relying on him as a starter in Week 6 is risky. The broader lesson here is about understanding the nuances of a backfield. Just because a player is seeing touches doesn't mean those touches are enough to carry your fantasy team. Factors like game script, quarterback changes, and team projections all play a role. Brown finds himself in a spot where each of these factors works against him. Fewer carries, a struggling offense, and a tough matchup against the Packers. So for Week 6, Brown is best treated with caution. He's rostered in plenty of leagues, but this isn't a week to expect a massive performance. If you're searching for fantasy points at running back, it might be smarter to look elsewhere for a streamer with a higher ceiling and more opportunity. Brown's workload and matchup just don't inspire confidence this week. In short, Chase Brown is getting work, but opportunity and situation are limiting factors. In a tough matchup with a projected blowout against the Packers, relying on him as a fantasy starter is likely to lead to frustration. Keep an eye on the Bengals' game script, but for most fantasy managers, he's more of a backup plan than a must-start option. Stay subscribed for more videos.